before I see it live. Go right ahead. Oh, we'll give her another shot. Hang on, just so we give it. It's the pressure we put you on the spot.
I got a question. Doing something that gets not your average fans, people that don't watch WNBA basketball, why can't we lower the goal to at least 9.5 feet? Would definitely bring more excitement to that game. What do you think about that?
We're only playing basketball to dunk? Like, I'm not sure.
No, you playing to.
Like, you just want to see me dunk on somebody? Like, I don't know.
I'm glad she's that confident in her ability. She's also a little delusional.
So what's really wrong with the WNBA? Why is it that almost immediately following the end of the NBA playoffs, the sports world becomes dry and boring? I saw an interesting graphic here. There was a comparison between Sue Bird and LeBron James having similar careers, 17 seasons, both have 4 NBA championships, and the only glaring difference between the two is the salaries, where LeBron James makes $34 million a season, while Sue Bird makes $215,000 a season. When we also look at this secondary graphic right here, we have Candace Parker making the connection between Danny Green earning $15 million, which was more than the $12 million paid out to the entire WNBA in salary. And WNBA players really use these things. They will really denigrate NBA players for this. But I call BS. If we pull up this next graphic right here, Sue Bird makes about 0.03 in total of the WNBA revenue. LeBron James makes 0.04% of the NBA revenue, right? But the NBA is making $7.4 billion yearly, while the WNBA is generating $25 million, which that $25 million is at a loss. So that $25 million isn't even profit. So these teams are paying salaries out even though they're in the red. You know, in the sports world where everything seems to come to a complete standstill when the summer arrives, one would think another professional basketball league would be welcomed and would garner much attention. So again, I ask, what's really wrong with the WNBA? Here's another comment right here where they call the NBA players sexist. He says, y'all want stuff to be sexist so bad. If that's the case, why don't y'all get it all together? I mean, some of these comments and complaints are just get completely ridiculous. Here's another set of tweets that I found, and another set of comments that I found. BT says, all of these men saying the WNBA makes more money, not understanding is due to systematic sexism. Systematic sexism? How can it be systematic sexism when most of the WNBA fans are men? Here's a graphic right here. 5% of the avid fans of your league are male fans. Only 3% of women are avid fans. 20% are casual fans. Only 15% women are casual fans. 74% of men are not interested at all. 83% of women are not interested at all. So you're talking about a league. Women want to call it sexist, but they're not watching WNBA basketball themselves. Yet they blame the men's league and the men's players for this so-called wage gap or wage disparity between the two leagues. I don't understand it. And I think when they start calling people that simply call BS on all of these complaints out, it just kind of makes you look at them with a side eye. It's almost amusing how people will give these ridiculous excuses to why the WNBA hasn't succeeded, all just to avoid controversy. But let us be real today. The WNBA is failing because it is boring. Let's not beat around the bush today. Women's basketball is basketball in its purest form, the way the game is supposed to be played. Okay, so why doesn't anyone like it? Well, ask yourself, would you rather watch Sue Bird take a great pass from one of her teammates and finish with a layup, or watch Tracy McGrady grab the board, lead to fast break, and finish with a posterizing dunk over a guy like Sean Bradley? Don't get me wrong, I like women's basketball just fine and all, but ask me to watch it outside of the NCAA tournament, I mean, you got to be kidding. So when I hear these apologists start giving excuses like everybody goes on vacation in the summer and so naturally ratings will be lower, I chuckle a little inside and just try to keep an understanding face so as to not appear chauvinistic or condescending. Ultimately, the WNBA is going to have to find something or someone to market that's actually real basketball. All right? Actually real basketball, not the relationships, not the love stories, not everything else that's not basketball. They're going to have to find a way to start marketing real basketball. We need some trash talking, a little in-your-face action to get some media attention. I'm not saying we need another Pistons-Pacers brawl, but a little bravado never hurt. Believe it or not, as much as the NBA and NFL discourage trash talking and animosity amongst its player, that's a lot of what drives up the ratings. It creates storylines. Anybody who remembers any storylines in the WNBA, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Please leave any major storylines, basketball related from the WNBA. Please let me know in the comments down below. We have to stop acting like this is a perfect world and that the WNBA doesn't need format or they need to reformat themselves after the NBA to gain public appeal. The smartest thing the WNBA could ever do is to allow the NBA to help it in whatever ways possible. And it's not gonna happen if WNBA players are time and time again comparing their salaries to what NBA players actually make. Because if you ask me, I would love to get paid. Though the average WNBA salary is right under $100,000 a year, I would love to get paid $90,000 a year to play basketball in an empty arena. I mean, I play basketball in empty gyms all the time for free. But you got WNBA players who play basketball in empty arenas getting paid $90,000 for 4 months worth of work, yet they're complaining that they're not making as much money as NBA players. I think the blame, the onus, all of this simply needs to go to the league itself. Because as hard as these leagues actually try to push real basketball, as hard as they actually try to push real content that will be engaging towards the male fan base, and let's be real, it's going to be the male fan base that puts money in your pockets because they are the biggest sports consumers in the US. Until you win those sports fans over, the WNBA will always and stay and remain one of the biggest flops and failing leagues that we've ever seen. All right, I've never seen a business have year after year after year of profit loss and operating in the red than the WNBA. Yet players in the WNBA are getting paid more. All right, they're operating at different costs. They're doing, it's crazy what they're doing. But you guys, let me know in the comments what you think below. I think it's starting to get asinine. It just gets to a point in time where you have to start calling a spade a spade. And with some of the news reports that I've been seeing coming out lately on the WNBA that's not basketball related, when I look at the Olympics, publications are putting out these stories, these love stories between players, but they don't talk about one single Olympic game or matchup. All right, when I go to Bleacher Report, I see more love stories, but I don't see anything about basketball. Come on, man. The real sports fans don't care about that. If we want love stories, all right, if we want the love stories, there are specific channels and networks that offer love stories. All right, if we want the sob stories, if we want all of the things that are not basketball related, we already have about 200 to 300 networks that offer that type of soap opera type of programming. When it comes down to real sports, WNBA, it's time for you guys to wake up, man, and start giving a product and start accepting the advice of men who actually want to give your league a chance. But as it stands right now, this WNBA league is completely boring. There are no storylines to talk about. There are no players to talk about. There are no WNBA debate topics to talk about. I mean, honestly, can we debate the WNBA GOAT conversation? I mean, who is it? Can we debate who's the best player in the league right now and really have an engaging and entertaining debate about it? Or will that debate only consist of about 4 people out of about 400 who even know who the top 10 players in the WNBA are? WNBA players, it's not the fans' fault that we don't know your game. It's the WNBA's fault. And it's the marketing that and the content that they push out. We're telling you the content that they're pushing out about the WNBA. I honestly don't care. When I look on Bleacher Report, I don't care that you guys have new jerseys. I honestly don't care. That does not make me want to watch. I don't care that a WNBA player just got married or had a baby. I don't care. I mean, kudos for all of that, but I actually don't care. It's time for you guys to start giving us real basketball content and to address the question from earlier when Tracy McGrady said they should lower the rims. And the WNBA player, what did she say? She says, you guys only want to see us dunk? Well, some of the most memorable plays in NBA history are dunks. When you have Vince Carter literally jumping over another human being. When you have Blake Griffin power dunking over Paul Gasol twice in a season. The dunk changes the game. The dunk changes momentum flows. Getting dunked on? Wow. I mean, come on, man. Some of them, I would probably have to argue that at least 95% of the best plays in the NBA are dunks. If you go through a list of just some of the best plays, it's probably somebody, Scottie Pippen dunking on Patrick Ewing. Sean Kemp dunking all over people pointing the fingers. The greatest plays in NBA history, the most memorable plays are dunks. These are the most exciting plays in the game. When D. Wade throws the lob, and we see that immaculate picture of D. Wade holding his arms out, throwing the lob to LeBron while they're in Miami. Another dunk. Some of the most immaculate and greatest plays in the NBA are dunks, yet WNBA players, because the majority of them can't dunk a 10-foot rim, push back against lowering the rims so that maybe they can have a chance to dunk the basketball. Because even the players that can dunk in your league, like Brittany Griner, like we saw at the beginning of the clip, struggle to dunk a basketball even with no defense under the rim. Oh, y'all, we got to be real, WNBA. It's time for y'all to open your eyes and start selling a real product that real sports fans will consume. Hey, it's FYF Sports, man. We out.